Michelle Obama surprised fans on our new podcast by saying her pet peeve about her husband is that he's chronically late. For example, we're still waiting on him to admit he's from Kenya. And as for Barack's pet peeve about Michelle, he's mad that she keeps leaving the toilet seat up. When she cleans it. When she cleans it.
Greg Gutfeld didn't just roast Michelle Obama, he practically incinerated the glossy, carefully manufactured image she's been marketing for years. With razor-sharp sarcasm and relentless timing, he shredded her media empire, her endless public lectures, and her tireless attempts to rewrite history on her own terms. This wasn't mild or polite criticism. It was a full-scale demolition job, laying bare the contradictions, hypocrisies, and carefully staged narratives that have kept her firmly in the spotlight. By the time Gutfeld was finished, Michelle Obama's brand looked far less like a beacon of inspiration and far more like a fragile, crumbling house of cards ready to collapse.
Even if they run Michelle. According to a new poll, Michelle Obama isn't as strong a Democratic candidate against former President Donald Trump as many Dems would have you believe. In a hypothetical matchup, my favorite kind. Trump wins with 47% of the vote compared to Michelle Obama's 44%. I guess some of the kids whose school lunches she ruined are finally old enough to vote.
The spectacle of Greg Gutfeld taking aim at Michelle Obama is like watching a master chef dice an onion, swift, sharp, and guaranteed to draw tears from anyone within striking distance. For years, Michelle has worked tirelessly to cultivate the aura of America's favorite motivational speaker turned lifestyle guru, but Gutfeld slices straight through the facade and goes right for the jugular. Forget the carefully staged photo ops, the choreographed interviews, and the endlessly Instagram-worthy lifestyle tips. What Gutfeld exposes is the sheer hollowness of a brand more polished than a campaign ad and less authentic than even the most scripted reality TV confession booth.
We have to use our voices to make these choices clear to the men that we love. Our lives are worth more than their anger and disappointment.
What's that pitter-patter sound I'm hearing in the background? It's the footsteps of Barack running to vote for Trump.
If you're enjoying this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and smash that bell icon. Michelle Obama has somehow managed to convince people that eating kale salads and dancing on daytime TV magically makes her a national treasure. Greg Gutfeld isn't buying a single ounce of it. He cuts clean through the illusion that she's some universally beloved figure, showing just how carefully manufactured her popularity really is. Behind the endless pep talks about hope, grit, and positivity stands someone who has been coasting comfortably on political celebrity status for well over a decade. The irony of preaching resilience and sacrifice while living in multi-million-dollar estates isn't lost on Gutfeld. He underscores how Michelle's well-rehearsed message of empowerment feels less like genuine wisdom and more like a reheated Hallmark card dressed up as inspiration.
Gay, meaning attention over an old letter. What? I should read that again. Anyway, no, we'll just keep going. The New York Post obtained a redacted portion of a handwritten letter the former president sent to his then-college girlfriend, Alex McNear. Alex, eh?
Then there's her constant self-branding as the nation's unofficial role model. According to Gutfeld, it's laughable that Michelle managed to build an entire empire out of telling people to exercise more and plant a few vegetables. Take her much-hyped school lunch crusade. Gutfeld notes it left millions of kids ditching their bland, healthy trays for vending machine snacks, proving that even when Michelle tried to reshape the future, children simply reshaped the trash can. What was meant to be a shining legacy of nutrition reform instead became one of the most ridiculed public health initiatives in recent memory, more punchline than progress.
So, Kat, they know that they're having a hard time with men.
Right.
Doesn't seem like this is the right strategy.
No.
She basically says that they're hurting women by voting for Trump.
But I think they don't understand that where it comes from in the first place is that people are sick of being told how bad they are and talked down to, and you know, the condescension doesn't work. None of what they're doing really works. I mean, the Walls AOC live stream of them playing Madden together was supposed to be to get like dudes who like football on their side, and they did it during football.
And let's not forget Michelle's undeniable love affair with the spotlight. Gutfeld is merciless in exposing how she positions every public appearance as though it's a groundbreaking historical event. Lavish book tours peddling empowerment at $50 a ticket, glossy documentaries that feel more like self-promotion than genuine inspiration, and an endless parade of magazine covers, all meticulously crafted to keep her image locked in pop culture as untouchable. But Gutfeld shreds that illusion, pointing out that Michelle has achieved what most celebrities can only dream about, turning herself entirely into the product. Her name alone now functions as a brand, stamped onto speeches, streaming specials, and overpriced hardcovers, endlessly recycling the exact same message, just in shinier packaging.
He talked about his, quote, androgynous mind and wrote, and I'm quoting Obama here, "I make love to men daily, but in the imagination." Kat, is fantasizing about having sex with men gay?
Well, as an expert in man-on-man gay sex,
That's why I asked you.
I think it's so horrible that somebody released this.
He skewers the narrative that Michelle Obama is merely a humble, down-to-earth figure, relatable, as the media loves to claim. Gutfeld highlights the absurdity of a woman living in a $12 million Martha's Vineyard mansion while lecturing ordinary Americans about gratitude and sacrifice. The dissonance is laughable, and he doesn't hesitate to spotlight the hypocrisy. Promoting hard work and perseverance is admirable. Preaching it from the back patio of a seaside estate, cocktail in hand, is another story entirely. Then there's the ever-present media adoration. Gutfeld rips into the way late-night hosts, glossy magazines, and daytime talk shows fawn over Michelle as if she were an untouchable goddess of wisdom. Every outfit becomes a headline. Every mildly inspiring quote gets treated like scripture. Every public appearance is framed as some grand gift to the nation. But Gutfeld refuses to kneel. Instead, he mocks this manufactured cult of personality, arguing that the media's obsession with Michelle isn't journalism at all. It's pure marketing disguised as reverence.
Ignorance that she projected as if the men are the only ones angry in the house. So every man who's been in a house where inflation's high, the electric bill's doubled, you're not getting cheers from the wife and kids. They're complaining, they're suffering, you're hearing it every day. Men, for the most part, and I'm grouping here a little bit, and I don't like to group, but we tend to internalize things, we want to solve something.
Her supposed role as a great unifier, Gutfeld laughs at the idea. For all the lofty talk about coming together, Michelle Obama has never hesitated to dismiss or demean anyone who doesn't share her worldview. Gutfeld highlights the divisive undercurrent laced through her speeches, something the media eagerly overlooks. Her brand of hope always comes with fine print: agree with her politics, or you're part of the problem. That's not unity, he says. That's a sales pitch dressed up as inspiration. A carefully packaged message designed to win applause rather than bridge divides.
Will the Dems ever win again, as long as they keep hating men? Our video of the day is a 2-for-1 man haters special. First up, Michelle trashes dudes while urging women to act more like them.
We're always hedging, because in the back of our minds, we weren't raised with the certainty of maleness that, kind of the confidence that young men in their 30s have, which they haven't earned. They just have it.
Even Michelle's leap into the entertainment world doesn't escape Gutfeld's fire. From lucrative Netflix deals to carefully choreographed public appearances, she has eagerly embraced celebrity culture while pretending to float above it all. Gutfeld shreds the narrative that she's simply sharing her story, arguing instead that she's cashing in on political connections like any savvy brand mogul would. There's nothing wrong with building a business, he notes, but Michelle insists on selling hers as a noble crusade. It isn't just branding, it's branding masquerading as virtue. Readers were left with pages of vague empowerment cliches, the literary equivalent of a shiny participation trophy. Yet the media hailed it as groundbreaking, treating her book less like literature and more like sacred scripture for those desperate to worship at the altar of Michelle Obama.
Men can't name masculine Democrats. So, Congresswoman, according to a new study by a think tank, young men struggle to name any masculine Democrat leaders besides Barack Obama, saying it's the Republican Party that best represents men's interests. Are you surprised by this? Where did the Dems go wrong?
The media's obsession with comparing Michelle to past first ladies doesn't escape Gutfeld's wrath either. While commentators gush endlessly about her so-called elegance and flawless style, Gutfeld exposes how hollow that praise really is. He mocks the absurd notion that sleeveless dresses and a few dance segments on Ellen's show somehow elevate her to cultural icon status. In his view, style over substance has become the true hallmark of her public persona. And he's quick to note that being a fashion muse doesn't magically qualify someone as a beacon of wisdom. Perhaps Gutfeld's sharpest blow comes when he dismantles the myth that Michelle is above criticism. He ridicules how even mild pushback is treated as sacrilege, as if questioning her polished image is an attack on progress itself. She's not untouchable, she's just packaged more carefully. Gutfeld insists her entire persona feels scripted and stage-managed, more like a Broadway production than genuine authenticity, complete with choreographed relatability and perfectly rehearsed humility.
We don't start feeling that and owning that until our 50s and 60s, at a time when we start to be treated as invisible in society.
So true. And it reminds me of my new book, Women Are Invisible at Age 50, and I couldn't be happier. Meanwhile, James Carville sunned himself on a hot rock long enough to tell the world what we already knew. Dems gave up on men a long time ago.
The real Michelle, Gutfeld argues, is the one who skillfully monetizes her persona without ever jeopardizing her elite status. And he makes it crystal clear. Authenticity that relies on a PR team, ghostwriters, and multi-million-dollar contracts isn't authenticity at all. It's elaborate performance art. From her highly public crusades to her private indulgences, from her staged relatability to her unmistakable elitism, Gutfeld leaves no stone unturned. His roast dismantles the myth of Michelle Obama as an untouchable national treasure, revealing her instead as a master of branding, a political celebrity who transformed image into empire, and a cultural phenomenon fueled far more by media adoration than by tangible impact. Gutfeld doesn't let her slide on the endless documentaries and lucrative speaking tours either. Every stop feels less like heartfelt inspiration and more like a calculated political soft launch, testing how audiences respond to her perfectly engineered image. The problem? People can sense when something is manufactured. Michelle's brand, he says, has become the equivalent of reheated leftovers, served with a smile, packaged as fresh, but unmistakably the same old script reheated again and again.
We had to take this story seriously for years, and it was false.
It wasn't false.
No. For people to understand what happened, all right? Because the problem with this story is that nobody knows what you're talking about. When Trump won in 2016, the intel community concluded that Russia didn't have a hand in his victory. Instead of accepting the inclusion, Obama determined and wanted a new conclusion. So he sent Brennan running to come up with a new conclusion, that there was some kind of trivial involvement that then they could feed out to the media.
Gutfeld calls this out with brutal clarity, noting that for someone who constantly preaches authenticity, Michelle operates with the precision of a Hollywood studio executive, where nothing is accidental and every move screams performance. When it comes to political positioning, he exposes the irony of Michelle being sold as the solution to problems her own circle helped create: rising costs, cultural divides, and a public that no longer trusts its institutions. She lectures on these issues as though she weren't part of the administration that normalized so much of the dysfunction in the first place. Gutfeld pounds this hypocrisy relentlessly, making it clear her speeches offer no solutions, only sermons from someone who had every chance to lead but chose the spotlight without accountability. Her book tours get roasted with equal intensity, glossy productions that sell out theaters but leave nothing of real substance behind. Gutfeld doesn't sugarcoat it. This isn't groundbreaking work. It's a money grab dressed up as empowerment. Michelle isn't blazing a trail. She's cashing in on her celebrity, which would be fine if she didn't insist on packaging it as some noble act of self-sacrifice.
even knowing that there are divorce rumors and, she's not showing up for him, whether it's at the Jimmy Carter funeral or the Trump inauguration or the basketball game he just went to in LA, when visiting their daughters and then dinner with the daughters, was not there. Here she is talking about it. If it were me, I would say something nice about him. I would say, like, he's just so charming. It was meant to be. I knew he could heal the earth in the way he did. There was only one person who could do it, and it was my husband, Barack Obama, whatever. Then she gets on to talking a little bit about him personally, and this is how that's...
When a girlfriend comes to visit, it's usually like, you gotta stay for 2 days.
And then there's the ever-present specter of Michelle Obama as the Democratic Party's secret weapon. Every election cycle, the whispers return, fantasy scenarios of her swooping into the political arena to save the day. But Gutfeld ruthlessly shreds this daydream. He exposes how Michelle has perfected the art of dangling the possibility without ever committing, keeping her name in the headlines while sidestepping the scrutiny real candidates inevitably face. It's like watching someone hold a glittering carrot above a desperate fan base, teasing endlessly but never delivering the meal. He highlights how the media all but canonizes her, publishing glowing profiles that treat every carefully rehearsed line as gospel truth. In reality, she has mastered the craft of saying everything and nothing simultaneously. The adoration isn't about policy or substance, it's about preserving a narrative. And Gutfeld has zero tolerance for such hollow idol worship. He slices through the PR fog to reveal that behind the polished, camera-ready veneer lies the same ambition, ego, and hunger for influence that define any career politician. She's just packaged it better.
He was covered in dirt, to your, your life motto. And I thought, look at this guy in this dark, dank, smelly, dirty place with lots of danger. Not just this cherry picker, but also the live rail that he's working on, all the wires, having a great time. And then you look at her, and she's still, they have to be billionaires by now.
Sure.
Out on the yachts, the Martha's Vineyard, $22 million estate, totally thriving young daughters who went to Harvard and USC. It's never going to be good enough. It's a mind frame, right? It's like your choice of how you're going to go through this life.
What makes the roast sting even more is how Gutfeld exposes the glaring double standard. Michelle Obama can lecture endlessly about empathy, values, and public service while living a life of extreme privilege, entirely detached from the struggle she claims to champion. The multi-million-dollar homes, the celebrity status, the Hollywood connections, all of it quietly erodes her message. Gutfeld wields this truth with biting sarcasm, showing that Michelle has become exactly what she once claimed to oppose, an untouchable elite insulated from reality. In classic Gutfeld fashion, humor delivers the final blow. He likens her inspirational speeches to diet soda, sweet at first, but ultimately empty, leaving you less satisfied the more you consume. What cuts deepest, though, is the reminder that Michelle Obama isn't merely another celebrity. She symbolizes a party trapped in nostalgia, clinging to past glories because the present feels too uncertain. Her omnipresence in the media, endless branding, and coy dance with political speculation all serve the same playbook. And Gutfeld tears that playbook apart with ruthless efficiency, revealing that the myth of Michelle Obama is far more valuable to her supporters than the reality ever could be.